What's up, everybody? This is Matt with RaceNews.com here with a special live instant reaction to the Pegasus draw. If you're tuning in now live, thanks for joining us. We just a few minutes ago got to see Acacia Courtney deliver the Pegasus draws for both the Pegasus and the Pegasus Turf, and I'm very excited here to have Aaron Halterman, a.k.a. the Pegasus Statue, a.k.a. Peggy, and Mike Samich, Mr. Samich. Gentlemen, good morning. Well, morning for me. Welcome. Hey, Dan Jared's here just in time. Jared came in under the wire. Jared, welcome to the show as well.
Hey, yeah. I tried to avoid this show as much as I could. I thought you guys might be further along when I logged in and saw the intro. I thought, oh shit, now I got to get on here.
Well, welcome. For you.
Yeah,
what's up, boys?
Yeah, I'm excited, man. This is These are gonna be 2 fun races. I'm excited for this. I was happy to see who was in it and kind of how the draw played out. It's gonna be a fun Saturday.
I feel like this year the 2 betting races, or the 2 races from a betting perspective, are the best combined, right? Because in other years, we've either had strong favorites or maybe we've had 2 horses that are can't miss and just one of those 2 have to win. You can make a case for a few horses in each race. So, yeah, I'm with you, Samich. It's from a betting standpoint, I think this is one of the more exciting Pegasus that we've had. And I also think Pegasi that we've had. Yes. And also, I think I kind of looked at the probables. We don't have the whole undercard out yet, but we do have some probables. They're going to be damn good as well. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, anytime you throw out 2 5-2s that I want no part of as favorites, I'm pretty excited. So,
this can be a good show. Oh, magic! This can be a good show, magic.
I saw this. Yeah, I saw that Michael's here. Boy, you make one little appearance showing off your arms. Here's the sad part. So Michael works at a gym. Michael is a fitness freak. Like this guy, I think he's about my height. I'm 6'4", and he's just like I think he's got like 8% body fat. So he's the one person that can you can call me noodle arms, because as soon as I did the show, he posted a video of himself with 75s just doing chest presses like they were nothing, and I was like, yep, you got me on that one.
I can paint 75 on some weights too. I mean, it's easy. I can make them 150s if I need to.
Well, I can do them. I can't do them easy like he did. He did them like it was, toothpicks or something.
I like to bench press the bar. Like that's the weight I like. What's the bar weigh?
45, I think.
Yeah, usually 12-ounce curls is about all I do these days. So.
This is gonna be a fun show. So we are gonna be doing. There's over 100 of you tuning in. So. We're doing this live, just the instant reactions. If you guys have questions, comments, anything you got, throw them up here. But we're going to get right into it, gentlemen. Let's take a look at the big one, the $3 million Pegasus World Cup, field of 12 drawing in for both of these. Here, the favoritism is on Knicks Go. Not a lot of surprise here. 5-2 was about the price I was guessing. His horse has won 3 straight. Joel Rosario is going to be riding him again. We saw what he did at Keeneland. The question for him is, can he transfer that Keeneland form when he was running so well over to Gulfstream Park? Aaron, I'll kick it to you first.
Listen, I kind of thought this is pretty straightforward from a pace standpoint, right? It's Knicks Go and it's Tax. Those are the 2 that are going to play the part as far as the pace goes. I looked at it immediately and said, well, if Knicks Go can get 1 mile and an eighth, probably going to win, right? I don't see another horse that's able to run him down if he can extend that distance an eighth of a mile, or in the case of two back and 3 back, just a 16th of a mile. Is like those races 2 3 back are at 1 mile and 16th. So yeah, I think he definitely has the advantage from a pace standpoint. I think Tax is going to sit a really, really good trip in second just behind him. It almost feels like it might be one of those 2 to the wire first. If Knicks Go starts to slow down, Tax should be in a pretty good spot to come get him. Code of Honor at 9-2. I don't know that I'm real interested in him as far as a win candidate. because I don't know that he can come get those horses late. I don't think the pace is going to be there necessarily. So, yeah, I like Knicks Go or Tax at first glance.
Jared, what about you, bud?
Yeah, I mean, for one, like I kind of mentioned earlier, it's nice, like you say, Halterman, we're used to having at least one, if not two, kind of semi-strong top choices in each of these races. So usually the undercard is where you're going to get some value. Feels like this year, I mean, you can criticize whether these are grade ones or not, or how shady the fields are or whatever, but they're good races. Like they're good competitive betting races, and I think that's going to be fun to kind of kick or in the day with a possibility of a huge payout. Because let's not kid ourselves. I mean, even though Knicks Go is the quote unquote class of the field, it wasn't so long ago Knicks Go was the joke of the show, right? So it's funny in that regard. So yeah, I mean, I like Knicks Go from a pace standpoint. Can he get the distance? I don't know. This is a race that to me there's Tax. Code of Honor is one that I'm not going to play on top just because underneath, I think you will him everywhere underneath because there's no way I feel like he's going to make his run. Mr. Freeze has had times where he's ran good races at Gulfstream. It just has a feeling that at least one of these Pegasus races are going to have a huge price in it.
Mike, speaking of big prices, you're known for your loving to take big shots with bombs. I mean, Knicks Go 5-2, not a price there. Are there any price horses here? Are you willing to eat a little chalk on Knicks Go? What are you thinking?
Oh, Knicks Go is a hard pass for me. I'm going to fade this horse like nobody's business. The horse won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, but we all saw the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile as a lone speed race where speed was playing well at Keeneland. This horse is going to get way overbet in this spot. Horse never gone a mile and an eighth. None of us really thought this horse was that good before the Keeneland race, and the Keeneland race was set up specifically because of the speed, the pace figures that he faced. So, I mean, I think you're going to see this horse go off sub 2-1, and I have no interest at all in Knicks Go. So if Knicks Go wins, I will not be hitting the late pick 5. I can tell you that much right now. I can't believe I'm about to say this, especially in a $3 million race. Kind of like Sleepy Eyes Todd. I kind of think he's going to sit the trip.
You and this horse, man. For you pick him at Santa Anita, and he runs a well-beaten fourth, and right? Yeah, he was fourth in that. No, fifth in the Awesome again. And then now you're going to pick him here. But he's won 2 straight. He's coming out of 7 furlong races, so he should have speed. Are you liking the rail draw with that speed? Is that what you're showing?
Well, he's successful at the distance. He's won at a mile and eighth before. This horse has shown the ability to close in the last 2 races, which I like. He doesn't need to be on the lead, but he's going to have tactical speed. As Aaron mentioned, there isn't a ton of pace in here. So you see Knicks Go and Tax setting the pace. Sleepy Eyes Todd's going to be that one right behind that speed. He's going to get a nice trip from the one hole. And I could just see him picking up the pieces and taking these 2 on. I'm not overly confident in anyone in this race. And that's where I definitely would start out with. I'm going to be spreading here. I'm going to be looking for a price. I'll probably end up using Tax because Tax is going to get first run. I like Sleepy Eyes Todd. Code of Honor scares me a little bit. I mean, I think you would even go get a little crazy with last argument if you want. I mean, there's a couple horses in here that at a big price could score. So this to me is a spread race.
The horse you're talking about, Last Judgment, he's not even in the nominations. He was a last minute kind of addition here. He actually just raced last weekend, I believe, at Gulfstream Park. So I was surprised to see him show up. Also surprising, let's stick with Code Honor here for a second, is a horse that John Velasquez had ridden in 14 of 15 starts. John Velasquez is now on Mr. Freeze for Dale Romans. Tyler Gaffleone is going to jump into Code of Honor for the first time. And I think that the combination of the jockey move plus the really short price at 9-2, it's going to be hard to do it, but I'm taking a pass against him, at least as far as a win goes. Aaron, you talked a little bit about that he concerns you a little bit. What about the jockey change of Velasquez not riding suddenly after being on this horse for so long?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. It's got to be more about Code of Honor or Shug McGahee firing him, right? He's not going to jump on Mr. Freeze, I don't think, by choice. And maybe fire is a strong word. Maybe he wanted Tyler Gaffleone, and so it's hey, we're just going to go with him instead. But I don't know. I don't really know. I thought that was very odd. Listen, I want to pick Code of Honor all the time. I really love that horse, but it's just too much. It's just too many times. It's well, he should have won, but he didn't. And it's yeah, you just can't win betting horses like that. So I don't know. Listen, Mr. Freeze, to me, if it was this time last year, and we had that Mr. Freeze, I think he'd win. He'd probably be my top choice. He probably also wouldn't be 15-1. So I think if somehow he can reawaken the ghost of Mr. Freeze's past, Dale Romans can get that out of him, he can probably win, but his form recently is not good enough to win. So that's kind of where I landed on that with that one. Last Judgment that Mike mentioned, just real quick, kind of interesting, looked pretty good. What was that, last week? Honestly, being in good form kind of gives you a heads up in this field where usually you wouldn't think, okay, we're going to the Florida bred and now we're coming right here. But I don't think it's a worse play if you want to go really deep. But yeah, listen, I thought it was interesting. Like Samich, you're right. Everything really set up really well for Nick's Go last time out at Keeneland. But who doesn't want to be loose on the lead at Gulfstream too? That was where I kind of landed why I'm thinking I'm going to end up going with him. It's like, I think there's a good possibility he may get a perfect setup again. It's like, how is this happening with this horse? So, preliminary thoughts. We have a lot of handicapping to do in the next 24, 48 hours. So we'll see. But yeah, the Velasquez thing is interesting.
So, Jared, you've been in the background. You've been posting for the folks who are watching us live the comments for the instant reactions from some of the trainers. I saw you had Brad Cox's comment on Nick's Go up a minute ago, and then Shug talking about Code of Honor. There's a great point here from Brian Shields. John Velasquez was committed to Tis the Law for this race, so that's I forgot about that, and now he's retired, and so I think that's what happened here. So we don't have to read into him being fired. It was, well, he jumped on that horse, and that horse retired, and he needed to find something. Jared, why don't you kind of recap with the quotes and what the two trainers were saying about those horses?
Yeah, so I was just I got the email while we were on here. I was kind of looking at it. Obviously, the trainer talk is pretty thick on whenever you have these. Brad obviously thinks that given that the speed is pretty good, or not really good, it's really good at Gulfstream Park, that says I'm a big believer that speed is good at a mile and an eighth and beyond. Obviously, it depends on how much other speed is in the race, but I think he can get it. I think he's a horse that once he gets free and loose, he runs with a lot of confidence. So obviously, Brad is sitting there with the thought of him getting out to the lead and just keep going. I mean, it depends on what kind of juice he's got going too, right?
Should be the good stuff on this day.
He had the juice at the Breeders' Cup. We all know that. Let's see. Obviously, with Code of Honor in the Clark, this is from Shug. In Clark, he was bottled up there. By the time he got loose, the race was pretty much over. Before that, going a mile, Chad's horse complexity kind of controlled what was going on. Blah blah blah. The Whitney was a throwout. The first race was good. I probably shouldn't have run. It seems like the bottom line is like that's the Code of Honor, right? Everything is like, well, this happened and then this we could have done this. It's like he's a horse of excuses. So I don't know how you play him to win here.
Can you tell him and Tassis apart if you put them next to each other?
Let's see.
What about Jesus' team or Jesus' team? What do you guys think of that horse? I like he's been improving. Like Gulfstream should sit mid pack. Was starting to run down Nick's Go.
I don't know how much I want to play him to win, but I did notice that Irad jumped aboard for the first time, and I thought that was pretty telling. This horse, he just keeps showing up. He doesn't necessarily make you think he's going to win, but damn, I mean, he's the only time he's finished off the board since January, which is 9 starts. It was 4th in the Haskell. Other than that, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 3rd, 4th, 2nd. So I think at least for underneath at 8-1, that's a really nice price. Aaron?
He reminds me a little bit of like a Bravazzo, where he runs, he hits the board. You never really get that feeling that he's going to actually win a big race. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to put him as an exotic type of play, put him in 3rd, maybe, wish I would have had him in 2nd at the Breeders' Cup. That would have been nice. But yeah, I mean, he's just kind of that going to give you an honest effort. Shows up every time type, but I don't think he can win.
How about why? Okay, there's 2 horses, and a few people have obviously posted about, where's Monomoy Girl? Like, give me Monomoy Girl if she's in this race. And frankly, I would agree. If she's in this race, it'd be hard not to pick her. What about Maxfield? A horse after that last race, kind of thought, well, maybe. But I just looked him up. He just made a workout a couple days ago. But either one of those horses, I feel like if Maxfield was in this race, would you guys pick him?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to think about it. It's a hard question to answer, but I don't think I would pick him, but I think he would be a player for sure.
Multi-race tickets.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he would be logical. I mean, you just have to just run down the horses. It's like, yeah, he's already, without looking at the past performances, like, well, he's better than half of them for sure. And now let's dig in and see how he fits with the rest of them. But yeah, he would definitely be in the mix.
Sleepy Eyes Todd, the trainer Silva said, I love the 1 1/8. He already won at that distance and performed really good at the distance. We're hoping that we have a different kind of trip. We don't want to be in the lead, and hopefully we can pick up the horses at the end. So obviously he's hoping to sit that kind of trip that Samich is banking on, and obviously Jose Ortiz to ride. 8-1 is pretty sweet price on that horse. If you're banking on the pace meltdown, that he's probably your pick, right? He's your horse.
I think it'd be wonderful if the Pegasus World Cup winner was a horse that has won at Remington Park, Fauner Park, Charlestown, Keeneland, and then Gulfstream, and has also raced at Santa Anita Lone Star or Fairgrounds, Houston on the turf. Like, this horse, you got to give him credit for at least showing up anywhere they can put him.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And by the way, the Pegasus winner from last year, his race before the Pegasus was 4th in the Oklahoma Derby. So don't think that it can't happen. This is not arrogant. This is not gun runner. Those days are long gone. Once again, you have a field here where Sleepy Eyes Todd could certainly win. Now, to your point, somebody said Jesus's team. If Jesus's team's 8-1 and Sleepy Eyes Todd is 8-1, I'll take Sleepy Eyes Todd every time, because I think he does actually have a legit shot to win, where Jesus's team is just more of that underneath play for me. But he is a really cool horse, right? To win at all those different tracks, and I would certainly love to see it. And I think for your perspective, Samich, I agree. If you don't believe in Nick's Go and you think Nick's Go is going to fade, and you're going to go against him, why would you not use Sleepy Eyes Todd? There's really not a good reason, I don't think. And it comes down to, okay, do you think Sleepy Eyes Todd is better than Tax? Yeah, he probably is. I mean, it's definitely debatable, right? So, I get it.
You look at Silva. I mean, Silva mentioned that one of the reasons that he was in those last 2 7-furlong races was because the horse isn't as fast as he was earlier in his life. And so he wanted him to be able to close into paces. And so he kind of learned how to stalk. And then if he can do that, I think Sleepy Eyes Todd at any price really is maybe the best pick. I mean, again, quick glance, he's probably my play on top right now.
Yeah.
The quote there from McCarthy on Independence Hall. That's always the confidence you're looking for from a trainer going into a big race. Yeah, there's a lot of knowns here. We're not really sure.
What is this horse doing here?
Yeah, Halterman and I talked about that earlier prior to the draw. It's like, why is he in this race? Like, what's the plan here? And then you'd at least be hoping to see something like, oh, he's been working great, and we really think he's going to get him out or whatever. It's like, even the trainer's like, yeah, he ran okay here last time, and a lot of unknowns. We'll see. But, the trainer did win the race 2 years ago with City of Light, a horse that maybe not a lot of people thought could get this distance as well. So I guess that's something to think about.
Well, I'm not going to speak for so much because I can't remember if he played him, but I know Aaron and Jared and I all love City of Light. In that event last year, I don't think any of us have that anywhere near that confidence in Independence Hall. McCarthy did say that he's been working well and that he can't figure out what went wrong in the Malibu. But they also said it's a $3 million purse. Why not take a shot? So again, to your point, not a lot of confidence coming out of Michael McCarthy, and he's one of those trainers that will tell you honestly if he doesn't think he's got a shot, maybe he doesn't have a shot.
I'll add that he may not know what happened last time, but I can already tell him what happened this time when the horse finishes 9th. It was too far. So I'll save him having to do any research when he finishes 9th on Saturday.
I didn't realize getting beat by 6 lengths by Chivalry and Ete Indian was doing okay over the track last time. Like, that's not exactly something you write home about here.
Good point. That's a very good point.
Shout out to Ete Indian. Yeah.
I think we've hit just about. Did we talk about Harper's first ride? There was some people talking about that in the comments. A horse coming from Laurel Park, where he's been dominating everybody in Maryland. Won 4 of his last 5. The one time he lost, he took a slight break, came back pretty strong. But he's been facing horses like Forewarned, Cordmaker 4 times, Owendale, and he got beat by Monday Morning Quarterback. So he's bringing the trainer and the jockey down. Strong connections there, but we're not at Laurel Park. So, Aaron, I'll kick to you first. Do you have much confidence in Harper's first ride at first glance?
Well, you said the big problem. We're not at Laurel Park, but I also kind of mentioned that, hey, this is not your Pegasus of yesteryear, where a Laurel Park shipper is one you just completely throw out, has no chance. Horse has been hot. Horse has been winning. That's more than you can say about a few of these in here for sure. I don't think that horse is without a shot. Do I want to bet it to win? No, but do I think he's got a little bit of upset potential? Yeah, I do.
As a new shooter to me, right? I mean, like, we've seen a lot of these other horses against each other. Why not? Especially if you're getting 20, 30 to 1. I don't think, again, I'm not going to go in there and like drop down a couple grand to win on this horse or anything crazy. But if you're playing multi-tickets and you're spreading in this race, I would rather have this horse than Independence Hall. I mean, I would rather have this horse than Mr. Freeze, than Math Wizard, because I don't know what this horse is in this type of field. And so for me, I think this is a swing horse where if you're going to go 5-6 deep, why not take a shot here?
That's a good point, Jared. Jared, did you have anything?
No.
Okay.
I'm done talking about this race.
Hey, that's perfect. We'll that's good enough for me. That's the sign from the boss to move on. We'll talk about the $1 million Pegasus World Cup Turf next. Again, a field of 12 horses entered in this race. Colonel Liam, I was a little surprised, ends up getting the favoritism at 7-2 for Todd Pletcher. I really thought it was going to go to another Twist of Fate, who draws post 8 for Peter Miller. We saw what he was able to do in California last time out, especially adding the blinkers there. Aaron, I'll kick to you first. Colonel Liam, 7-2. Todd, Irad, what are your thoughts?
Oh, boy. I was hoping I wouldn't have to talk about this race. I'm telling you what, this is going to be a horse race, fellas. I think any of the 12 have a legitimate shot to win. They have races in their past performances where they could have finish at least in the top 3. Colonel Liam at 7-2. Listen, I really like Colonel Liam. Holy cow, 7-2 in a grade 1. Woo! You're going to have to have some balls, some Andy Reid type balls, let's say, to bet a lot of money on that horse as far as a win. Obviously, one you need to include. I'll just be completely honest. I have not decided exactly who I'm going with on top just yet. I kind of liked North Dakota's race last time. I like that Jose Ortiz gets aboard. I really like 10-1. I think I'm going to have to take somebody in the 8, 10, 12-1 range, because if I'm sitting here and saying every one of these horses have a shot and I take the favorite, that's pretty dumb. So I think North Dakota is one I'm kind of looking at. Cross border at 15-1. That horse has some past performances or races in his past performances that might make him competitive. Mike Maker going long on the turf is definitely something you got to keep an eye out on. He always pulls upsets. So, a lot of different ways here. A lot of different ways.
Jared, there's 3 total Todd Pletcher horses in here: Colonel Liam, Largent, and then all the way outside Social Paranoia. Do you agree with Aaron? Does it look like a pretty wide open field here?
Oh my gosh, I know. I mean, seriously, like Halterman said it perfect. Like every one of these 12, at the very least, you can make a case for hitting the board. So coming on hitting this try here will be unbelievable. I mean, I think this is one of those races for me that I'm probably, going to agree with Samich here. Like, you look for as much value you possibly can in this one, because if you're telling me all 12 horses essentially have a shot, let's even say 8 of them have a shot to win. Well, why not? I mean, this is right up my alley, where you look for the horse that proposes the most value and that with the most likely chance to win, right? And so, I mean, like in North Dakota, I know 5-1 is not great, but another Twist of Fate, looked pretty good last time out at 5-1. So I think obviously I'm a big, like Aquaphobia, any kind of when Mike Maker cross border with when he's got one of these horses on the turf at Gulfstream that kind of don't appear to have are outclassed, so to speak, in this, like those are the ones that scare the shit out of you. And I love playing Maker in these situations. So I like both of those horses as well.
Mr. Samich, lots of price options here. What you like?
I'll probably have two separate tickets, and one of those tickets I'm probably going to single Largent just to try and give myself the opportunity to spread in a lot of races around here. I really like Largent in this spot. Pletcher having 3 scares me a little bit. I'm going to definitely be against Colonel Liam. You're really basing it off one race with Colonel Liam, and I'm not sure that taking Colonel Liam as a chalk or as a favorite here makes much sense. I'm going to be against the California horses. Not a big fan of Next Shares. Not a big fan of Another Twist of Fate. The Mike Makers scare the crap out of me. I think the Shugs are really dangerous. I think Breaking the Rules specifically could run a huge race. If you look at that race that Largent actually won, that Breaking the Rules is coming out of, Breaking the Rules had a load of trouble, and it was still running home late. And even though I just said I'm kind of against the California horses, what happens if Storm the Court gets loose? I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. There's not a ton of speed in this race. And if Storm the Court somehow gets loose, and I've seen that show where Julian Lapalou just walks the dog in front of these long turf races before. Yep. I mean, like, as much as I hate Storm the Court, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, I think Storm the Court's a little dangerous in this spot.
I hope not.
Jared.
I don't want to say it, but it kind of has to be said. Storm the Court is your lone speed.
I kind of think Another Twist of Fate might be up there too. I don't think Storm the Court will get out by himself, but we've talked about Leparoux on the Rocket Hour. It almost seems like every day. And every day he seems to be riding pretty well with speed horses on the turf, which is kind of a bizarro world when you think about what he usually does well. So is Samich crazy? Probably not, actually. I mean, I could see it. The thing about Storm the Court, he ran particularly well last time out. He didn't win, of course, but he ran pretty well. So yeah, maybe.
Jared, you got another quote up there for Todd Pletcher about Largent. What does it say?
Just basically, obviously, Samich had mentioned him. He's never been this far, but the way he ran the Fort Lauderdale, going to mile 8 certainly gives you confidence that he'll be able to handle the distance just fine. He doesn't seem too concerned, Pletcher, that is, for a little bit of a stretch out, considering he's never ran this far.
He loves the course too. 4 for 5 at Gulfstream Park, and he keeps improving every single race right now. It's early in the 5-year-old season, so it's a logical improvement time for a horse, and just makes a ton of sense. And 9-2 is not a bad price at all on him.
Now, Samich, tell the people a little bit. I mean, obviously, I know it's like just came out, but obviously, you kind of touched on it a second ago. But when it comes to these two races being the last 2 races of the day, I suppose, is that what they're going to be? Is that the last 2?
Most likely.
How are you kind of going to at least approach handling, like you kind of mentioned, you might single Argent and then go deep in the Pegasus World Cup. You might switch that around. I mean, what's kind of maybe some angles as far as getting this thing home?
Well, I think the dirt race, the World Cup, you really have to go deep. I don't see how in that race you're going to be able to get down to 1 or 2 horses. And so I'm probably going to play 4 or 5 horses in that race, throwing out Nick's Go and looking for a price. I feel like this race, if you have an opinion, you can try and take a shot and separate yourself. And I kind of have an opinion here. I think that Largent's the improving horse. I think that Largent loves the track. I like the trainer. I like the jockey for the racetrack. I mean, I realize that there's a lot of very good jockeys in here, but Paco Lopez on Gulfstream's turf is right up there with anybody else. He does very well over that track. And if Largent takes a step forward off his last race, 9-2 and singling here gives you huge value against everyone else playing the pick 4 and the pick 5. And so that's why one of those tickets I probably will end up singling Largent. And then I'll go 2 or 3 deep in the other ticket. And depending on, of course, what happens in the 3 races prior to this. I mean, that's part of the key too. If I don't have an opinion in those 3 races, this is the spot I'm going to take my shot over taking a shot in the last race. I think the last race is literally a dartboard. You could hit the all button in that race, and I wouldn't tell you you're wrong. This race, I think you kind of have to narrow it down a little bit more because I feel like we have a better idea of who the top contenders are here. I think you can really get it down to 5 or 6 quickly, and then it's kind of figuring out the nuances between those 5 or 6 horses.
Please do me a favor, and if you're playing multiple tickets, Samich, please, if you go deep in this leg, or I mean, if you go thin in this leg, please include Nick's Go in the last one.
If I single here, I will probably have Knicks go.
I don't want to hear it. Okay, I don't want you to have like basically a ticket's going to cash for a ton, and you left off Knicks go, and he wires the field. I mean, come on. So please,
of course, I'm going to do that, Jared. You know I'm going to do that. That's just
I know. I know. That's what I'm telling you. Please, just throw him in. I might even log into your Sumo Bombs and add him.
Just add Knicks go. God. Oh,
Will, if you how about this, Simon? If you put together your tickets and you just can't afford Knicks go, text Jared. He'll go in for half on the ticket with you if you add Knicks go.
No, because we've done that before, and I guarantee you we'd get knocked out in the first leg. That's usually what happens when I find it. And then we'll hit everything else afterwards.
I'll have Knicks go on the pick 4. How about that? Is that fair?
Okay. Yeah, as long as you got some action on them. I just don't want to hear about it on Saturday because you left off Knicks go, okay?
Fair point.
I love it. North Dakota, by the way, I forgot to mention this earlier when we were talking about him. He is a half-brother to Warfront, and we know how much Mike Samich loves Warfront horses on the turf. So you're getting half of a Warfront here, 10-1. You've got to love him, right, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of getting half of a Warfront with breaking the rules, too, since Warfront's his father. So it depends how you want to look at that one, right? I like breaking the rules more from the 2 Shug horses. I think both are if you do spread in this race, I think you're using both Shugs. Breaking the rules, I think, is, to me, the more interesting one. And breaking the rules is also 10-1. So you're getting that same price. Horse ran really well over this track last time. Should have absolutely no issues with the distance. It's 2 for 4 at Gulfstream. All 4 times been in the money. So for me, if I'm taking a pick between the 2 Shugs, I'd use breaking the rules. But honestly, all 3 would probably be in my top 4 horses. And Social Paranoia, I think, is the other one that's interesting to me. And those to me are the top 4. Just quick glance.
Aaron, any last thoughts on the Pegasus turf race?
Well, here's what's interesting. Pletcher has 3 horses in the race. He's got Irad Ortiz, he's got Paco Lopez, and he's got Luis Saez. So at face value, you say, well, Paco's probably on the worst one. But I agree with Mike. When you handicap all 3 of the horses, Largent looks the best on paper. So it is just kind of an awkward situation there. And then with Shug Nagay, he's got 2 horses. They're both 10-1. One has John Velasquez, and one has Jose Ortiz. So it's like, God, we didn't get any help as far as, couldn't he have thrown an idiot on one of those so we would know who the best one was? So, yeah, we didn't get any help with the connections here. This is the classic, and I'll write this on the guide. Magic, you'll see this later when I finally get this done at like 2 a.m. tonight. It's a classic box them up and call them home race if you're playing a try, or an exacta. It's just you just got to hope to get lucky with a couple. I can promise you one thing. I don't know who I'm going to pick yet, but they're going to be big odds. This will be probably the best value on the card. And by the way, the best value on the card today was in race 5 at Gulfstream Park. The horse just won at 11-1. So look out for these best values at Gulfstream. They've been winning lately.
Nice little segue there.
Yeah, congrats. Mike Samich,
you promotion, and hopefully Ricky Pasternak is watching and he's learned from what I did.
Mike, you're no stranger to hitting some nice prices at Gulfstream. Your last thoughts on the Pegasus turf here?
If you have an opinion, you have to have an opinion one of the 2 if you want to hit big, right? So to me, it's decide which one you want to have an opinion and make that play. Maybe yours is Knicks go is going to wire the field, and that's fine. That's an opinion. But I think you got to really take a stand in one or the other to be able to get something big home. So for me, I'm going to take my stand here, but I would recommend taking a stand in one of these 2 races.
Jared?
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is and it's crazy. Like it's tough. I was going to say this is the most wide open, but at the same time, it might be the other way around because if like some of these turf horses might just be a tad bit better than the others, whereas they all have a chance to hit the board and only maybe a couple have a chance to win. So whereas the actual World Cup, the dirt race just seems like if you're playing against Knicks Go, Samich, that the whole thing is just like whatever. So I think you can look at it both ways. I personally think that you can go. I would like to have a bunch of shots in the dirt at the end of it, like the end of the last race. That to me is where you're going to kick yourself. I get playing Knicks Go, but I also understand playing a lot of those other ones, and I would sure as hell hate to. Like I feel like some of these turf horses are legit, right? I think that the bar is a lot higher as far as their ability in this race than maybe what we were going to see in the dirt race. So I'd like to have more bullets in the last leg.
My last thought is there's only one horse in this entire field that's won without Lasix, and we saw that be an issue last year when they ran the Pegasus both races for the first time without Lasix. I think one of these horses, at least one of these horses in each race, is going to throw up a total dud, a shorter priced horse because of the no Lasix and another twist of fate. One last time without it. It's Peter Miller, Rosario. We've seen what they do over there, so I'm going to give that another glance there just because of the Lasix issue. So hopefully it turns into nothing, but we saw last year that was definitely not the case. We want to thank everybody who's tuned in for us, with us, to listen to us give our instant reactions to the Pegasus World Cup field draws. A quick reminder for you, the Inside Track wagering guide to the Pegasus World Cup is now available for pre-sale over at racingnews.com. We're going to have top 4 picks and analysis from every handicapper, so myself, Mike Somich, Aaron, Jared, Ricky Pasternak, Vinny Blonde from Real Dynasty is going to be joining us again. He's going to give his top 4 picks as well. And then Aaron and Jared, you guys did this really awesome thing at the Breeders' Cup where you gave us a live bankroll. Here's exactly how we're going to play each of the 2 days. And for the fans who followed, they cashed in really nice, especially in the turf races. And we're talking about the turf race here having all the values. So Aaron and Jared, I want you guys to just tell us one more time about the live bankroll thing, how it works, and why it's a good idea to buy the guide.
Yeah, so basically what we do, we're going to go through the 7 stakes. So the article will cover the 7 stakes races on the card. And we just go through race by race and tell you, okay, here is what we are betting on the day. Whether it be a trifecta, whether it be a win, whether it be exacta, but we just go through race by race, give you the exact tickets that we are going to play, for the day. And we'll have a little bit of writing on why we did that, like what was our thought process, how much what we invested $10 here and $80 here. Here's why, how we distribute our bankrolls, things like that. So just a lot of in-depth look at the psychology of betting, how we're going to structure tickets, where we're really, really confident, where we're maybe not so confident. So it just kind of gives you a really good in-depth look and gives you a really nice game plan of how you're going to try to attack, or how we're going to try to attack those 7 stakes to help you out with your game plan, whether it's you follow us completely, you kind of use it and build your own, you take some of ours and some of yours, whatever you want to do, but it just gives you a nice overall picture of how we see the stakes.
Yeah. And it's a very, obviously we try to cover it all in a variety of ways, but it's race by race. So some of them might be a win bet. We've talked a lot about, if you listen to the podcast after the Breeders' Cup, we talked a lot about kind of the psychology behind that. And then some of them might be tries. Some might be exact. One of our best bets or cashes of the Breeders' Cup was a really massive exacta. And so, you just never know how, it just kind of depends on how the value of the race sets up. And so that's what's kind of cool about the article is, we're not tied into every race is a try or every race is a win or whatever. We're getting very creative on trying to extend our bankroll, obviously. And we're going to keep, the idea is to keep carrying the bankroll over, like we're going to move it on to the next day or the next big race. And so we've got a little bankroll padded from the Breeders' Cup, and we're going to keep it going.
I love it. I think it's going to be a great addition to the guide again. Like I said, it was really fun to follow along from home, and even though I wasn't betting, to see how you guys were doing. So that is available right now for pre-sale, $39.95. Remember, if you have at least a 30-day membership to any of our premium products, all of these guides, including this one right here, is included with the membership. So if you're looking for value, which is what we're all about in horse racing, is finding value, this is the best value that we offer on the website. So go to racingnews.com, handicapping products page. Check out that Inside Track wagering guide to the Pegasus World Cup. Gentlemen, any final thoughts before we close off and get to handicapping and writing that guide? Aaron?
My final thought is I really agree with the sentiments of you got to go short in one of these races and long in one of these races. And I really think that the whole thing boils down to Nick's Go, because if you like him and you're going to play him, that probably needs the race that needs to be the race you go short in. So, and then if you don't like him, you probably need to do just the opposite. So I think that really the whole show kind of centered around that concept. Again, not knowing the 3 races that are going to be before it. So we'll see what happens. But at this time, that's what's in my head.
Jared, your final thoughts?
Yeah, I'll be diving into the card later on once it comes out, and obviously these 2 races. But yeah, I think value. I honestly think while we have less races to talk about than the Breeders' Cup, I think it's going to be tough. These cards the card is going to be loaded with opportunity here, and it, in these big days with these big pools, it just takes one, right? It just takes one big score to cash and make the day worth it. So bankroll management is going to be huge for Saturday, and obviously kind of staying, if you quickly, it's like at the Breeders' Cup, we kind of struggled day one, and then day two we turned it around. You just got to stay with if you're however you're planning to play it, stay with your strategy and just keep at it, because like I say, you could cash on the last bet of the day, and it make it the whole thing worth it.
Mr. Samich.
Just to echo Jared's comments at the start, we don't have the superstars here, but man, these are fun races. I mean, and I'll take the fun betting races over the superstars. That's just kind of my thing. And so I'm excited to bet these two races. I think that they're both offering a ton of value. I think anyone's opinion is going to pay off. So these are great races to bet, and it's going to be an awesome day. I love the undercard too. So make sure not to ignore the undercard, because a lot of times you can find huge value there as well. So just looking forward to the day overall. And I'm really happy we have 2 full fields of 12. And we have 2 competitive fields. And so I can't ask for anything more than that.
Perfect. And like Mike was alluding to just now, 7 total graded stakes races on the card. The Pegasus Inside Track Wagering Guide has every single race covered with top 4 picks and previews and insight from Aaron Halterman, so make sure you check that out. Over at racenews.com later today, Aaron's going to have the Pegasus and Pegasus Turf full previews, as well as his picks and thoughts on each individual horse. Check that out. It's available for free at racenews.com later today. And then blinkers off. I'm sure you guys are going to be tackling some of the undercard stuff, as well as talking more in depth about the Pegasus races. So check out blinkers off later this week. The Magic Mike show is going to be covering probably the late pick 4 sequence. This is just too juicy talking through it. So I think that's where we're going to head to. So we'll be live Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. And then, of course, everybody at racenews.com, we're very excited for this. I forgot to mention, I can't believe it, last but not least, Saratoga Slim will also be giving his top 4 picks. I'm pretty sure Slim was going to rip me a new one if I forgot him. Can't leave the most important part of the team off. So thank you again to everybody who's joined us today. For Aaron Halterman, Jared Welch, Mike Samich, I'm Magic. I can't believe I got that right on the first time. Good luck this week. We'll see you guys next time.